All right, so let's talk research paper. Now, the first draft is not due until October the 18th, so you've got about 2.5 weeks or so to get that draft out there. But as I mentioned the other day, I want you to start thinking about topics, thinking about how you're going to get things organized for this, the direction you want to go, so that you do have time to start drafting, doing some pre-writing, getting your thoughts and ideas together. So, like I said, let's talk a little bit about this assignment. As you'll see in your syllabus, starting on page 8, this is actually a two-part assignment. The research paper is assignment 2A, and then the annotated bibliography, which I'll get to in a moment, is 2B. Obviously, the research assignment is weighted more strongly. But I'll go ahead and read through this explanation, and as I go, I will elaborate on some of the details. So it says, your goal in this essay is to write about your chosen focus on the issues facing Generation Z, your generation, in ways that make a contribution to these current ideas. I may be a little presumptuous in assuming you all are part of Generation Z. I'm not sure if any of you are in the Gen Y generation, but Gen Z, as you may or may not know, is anyone born in the mid to late 90s up to the early 2000s. So that is what I say is what I want you to write about for this assignment. But if you want to write about another generation, that's fine. If you don't want to write about something that's generation specific at all, that's fine. This is just kind of, I know a lot of people like to have a general outline or a general assignment in mind. So if you want me to say, hey, write about this, there you go. Write about Generation Z and issues surrounding that generation. It's a pretty broad topic. If you don't want to write about that, again, you can write about something else. Just make sure you run it by me first. If you do write about something regarding Generation Z, you don't have to get approval from me on a topic unless it's what did I say here? Abortion, marijuana, gun control, or immigration. And like I say, it's not that I don't think those topics are important or I have an opposition to you writing about those. I just want you to kind of expand your ideas beyond the typical hot button issues. Again, it's not that those topics don't have merit or value or not worth talking about, but I want you to kind of think outside that a little bit. So again, as long as you don't write about those topics and you write about something with Generation Z, you can just start drafting. You don't have to get my permission. If you want to write about something else, you're more than welcome to. Just check with me first. I probably won't say no. The only reason I would say no is if I'm afraid that it's a little bit too broad or too narrow to write about. But even if it is, we may be able to be a little more specific or less specific depending if it's too broad. Anyway, so let me keep going here. So what did I say? Oh, okay. Like I said, I'm pretty flexible, but you must have it approved by me. I said that. Moving on. Focus your thesis on important points you want to make. So obviously, make sure you have a thesis statement. The thesis for this will be a little bit different than the thesis statement you had for the text and action assignment, because with that one, you were making a claim regarding what the author of the text was doing. So whether or not he or she was using rhetorical appeals, what their goal was, whether or not they were successful in your opinion. With this thesis statement, since you're going to be making an argument, you will be having a thesis statement that makes a claim regarding something you want to see done or changed, or something regarding the problem. So this is a problem and this needs to happen, or we must or needs to uh, have a change made. Basically, what you want to see happen. Identify the problem, why it's a problem, and then what needs to change. That should be your thesis statement. I'll elaborate on that a little bit more as we get closer to the assignment date. But make sure you have a thesis in your introduction. Remember, the essay is not a report on others' ideas. Your ideas must dominate throughout. By that, I mean you are definitely going to be using sources. You are required to use sources, but this isn't a literature review. You're not just collecting a bunch of sources and saying what other people are saying about this topic. Yes, you will be using other sources to help support your claim or your argument, but it is not simply a collection of other people's thoughts. Excuse me. Your claim and your ideas are the main point of this essay. You're using the sources to support and help prop up your argument. You're not basing your essay on other people's ideas. So, some guidelines for writing. As you can see in the bulleted list here in your syllabus, each paragraph of the essay develops an important point you want to make. Be sure each topic sentence explains how the writing the paragraph develops your central ideas. So, as you should know, the entire essay is based around supporting your thesis statement. And the topic sentence is the first sentence of each body paragraph, and that tells the reader what that paragraph will be about. Each of those topic sentences should in some way support your thesis statement. If it doesn't, obviously you'll have to change that. Use sources to support your discussion and cite these in MLA format. You need to have a separate works cited page, just like you did with text in action. Although for this one, you'll have several sources. Make sure you alphabetize them on your works cited page by last name. You should aim to use a range of sources, including text from the UC library, interviews, and surveys. Now, when I say UC library, you could technically go old school and check out a book. I'm not sure what the library availability is now with the pandemic. What I would recommend doing is using the UC's library database. I'm not sure if you used that before for other classes, but I highly recommend it. The easiest way for me to get to it, if I just go to Google and then I Google UC library, and then hang on. Sorry, I'm making sure it's recording because we saw what happened last time.